I am leaving my husband without telling him why. I am not the OOP. OOP is you, more size 6733. OOP has since deleted her account. I am leaving my husband without telling him why. Originally posted to our marriage. Trigger warning. Infidelity. Less than. Thanks to you, Twigs8771, for suggesting this. BoRU. Original post September 6, 2023. I found out that my husband was planning to have an affair with a woman from his company that works for another branch. He visits that branch twice a year, and she visits his twice a year. They have been flirting for 6 months and they were going to sleep together last Friday when she was here. I sent my husband a picture of me with new lingerie about an hour before her plane landed and he was supposed to pick her up. He had already told me he was working late and then going out with his colleagues for drinks and not to wait for him. I wrote that I was his dessert after the lobster pasta I'm making. He loves lobster pasta. He was home within the hour. When we were together he said he was glad he chose to come home instead of working. You mean? I should hope so. Yeah, I mean of course. He said. I don't have the energy to confront him or tell him that I know. I don't want to hear excuses and apologies. The lease is in his name because I moved into his apartment when we got married and we still haven't found our home that we're saving for. So I don't need to worry about that. Our savings and joint accounts are easy to access and divide, and I can do that the day before leave. I have found a subcontract today on an apartment for 12 months. If I get picked I can move October 1st already. Then I will serve him the papers and tell him the reason is that I'm bored with our relationship. And I have fallen out of love. I think it's better that way. Relevant comments. When asked how she is sure of her husband planning an affair, or as she searched his phone. It started with a lot of pop-up about hotels on our iPad. Combined with him being busy and texting more than usual, I became suspicious, so I went through his phone. They have been talking all summer about meeting for sex. She lives 3h plane ride away, so now I know why he was searching hotels and are in her city. Update 1: I have just signed a sublease. I'm leaving my husband at the end of the month, September 10th, 2023. Hi everyone. I hope you remember B. Before diving into my boring life, I want to ask you who reached out and asked for my recipe for my lobster pasta. How was it? Please share your dishes with me. Smiling face. I have now signed the lease. It is a sublease with 12 months, then month to month afterwards until the owner can sell his apartment. I'm so happy that I have found it. I feel like I'm born again. I have felt nothing but pain and despair for weeks. Now I can see the light at the end of the tunnel. I'm still resolute to just leave and not tell him the reason why. I think this is the only way I can cope with this pain without losing my mind or my dignity. Many asked how that would make me look. Honestly, I don't care. Those who love me unconditionally, and those who judge me, is their opinion really worth it? Update 2: filed for divorce. First night in my apartment, September 30th, 2023. I have been on high drive this weekend. No moving on Sundays, but I was fortunate to get the keys Thursday. I have been discreetly packing my clothes, and yesterday, Friday, the moving truck came and took all my stuff and my furniture that I bought to my new place. I changed my address to my parents because I don't want my husband to know my new address if he Googled it. When I was in my new apartment, it looked gloomy and so tiny. I just broke down crying. Like I have postponed my tears, and now I could finally feel safe to be vulnerable. Around dinner my husband started bombarding my phone because I left him a note that I was done with our marriage and filed for divorce. My plan was to never speak to him again, but today, after a million messages and missed calls, I folded and answered him. He was very confused and in total panic, but I just kept saying that I wasn't in love with him. anymore and that I was bored in our marriage. He was confused and begged me to come home and explain. Then he started trying to find other solutions. Maybe I was bored with my job or with our apartment. Maybe we could move and start anew somewhere else. I couldn't hold my tongue and just said, yeah, maybe we can move to city where the other woman lives. That would be very convenient for you. He was silent for a second, then asked what I meant. You know, because the main office is there and you have better chances to advance in your career? Silent again. Then he said, listen, I don't care about my career now. I care about you. I love you and I can't lose you. He will do anything to make me happy. I said the only thing was that he left me alone and understood that it is over because the sooner he realized it was over the better. I hung up. I probably need a new phone number because I don't trust myself not answering him again. I was so disappointed in myself for talking to him when I decided I didn't. My parents-in-law have called and wanted an explanation, and I just said that I wasn't in love anymore and wanted an out. They're both confused. All in all, it is better than them knowing the real reasons. I'd rather have them confused than sorry for me, or worse, try to explain his behavior and ask me to forgive him. I'm way better this way. I don't think there's a need for lawyers. We don't own anything together and we don't have children. I have already taken my half of the savings, etc., and I never stood on the lease of his apartment. I see no reason to have lawyers. I already sent my divorce papers to court, and with or without his signature I will be divorced. In 6 months if he signs too. In 12 years if he refuses to sign, and I submit a new application every 6 months. Lobster pasta recipe, September 30th, 2023. 2 people. Lobster stock. 2 lobster shells, 12 shallot, 1 garlic clove, 1/2 fennel, 1 carrot, 2 tablespoons olive oil, 1 tablespoon tomato paste, 1 deciliter white wine, 200 grams canned cherry tomatoes, 1 deciliter water, 1 teaspoon cayenne pepper, salt. After straining the stock, add saffron, 2 deciliters heavy cream, and lastly cognac or any brandy. Add the pasta and lobster meat, parsley, cherry tomatoes, and sugar snaps, if you want that. This is a repost sub IAM, not the OOP. OP has more control than I do. I would have made it clear to everyone what he was up to. Hopefully OP can move on without too much contact from the ex and his family. Well, that was a dish served cold. Damn. Her mentioning the city the other woman lived in was a lovely twist of the knife. His confusion will now be perpetually twinged with guilt and wrestling over whether or not she knew about his affair. For him, lobster pasta will be forever marred with the bitter taste of uncertainty. That lobster pasta sounds amazing. What was this story about? I actually think her cryptic comment was kind of genius. He'll always wonder, but never know. I kind of feel like she's torturing him in this small way as retribution. Well done. I can understand why she didn't want to outright say she knew about his cheating. She probably didn't want to hear all the backtracking, groveling, and false apologies from him. And why should she be the one who has to teach her husband that his cheating has consequences? That lobster pasta looks amazing. Man really missed out by messing around. Recipe blogs should be more like this. They're always like, I learned to make this lobster pasta on a trip to Italy in spring, smiling face with hearts, and never. I used this to enact revenge. Let me know how yours goes. Look for the silent party. That's the person who needed to get out of the marriage. This reminds me of what a PR agent said about Sophie Turner and her ex-husband's divorce. OOP chose peace of mind instead of more drama because of course her cheating husband will try to deny it. I hope she moves on quickly and finds someone better. Op is really strong on handling this. I personally think Op should at least let the in-laws know, since Op not saying what's going on could potentially lead to some really bad things. But who knows really? Maybe it might not. I wish Op for the best. The lobster pasta recipe sounds delicious though. Never had a lobster pasta actually. Wow. I would be petty enough and print the messages together with the divorce papers and then change my number completely. Hell, I'd probably send that to his HR as well as his parents and leave them all with my lawyer's phone number. Oop is a lot nicer. She should have changed her number. Block his ass on email and any social media. If you're gonna go savage, go all the way. For those who says she should communicate and let him know, is it her job to teach her ex so she can hear all the excuses and lies? Carry more mental load on top of being cheated on? He got the lobster pasta. That's more than enough. She's serving a revenge dish cold. Instead of everyone seeing her as a discounted woman, everyone sees him as a discarded man. That is going to burrow into his skin and torment him forever. Okay, there's a lot to unpack here. Top of the list, has anyone here tried the lobster ravioli recipe? And did it turn out well? Wow, this makes sense in a weird way. Her husband will simply lie to his family and claim she cheated, and they will believe him no matter how flimsy his explanation. His friends won't care. She is never going to see any of them again, so why waste the energy embroiled in a drama that will only disrespect her further? The only other reason I can see for her handling it this way was if she read that her husband said he would marry his affair partner if his wife was out of the picture. And now he has to marry her because she left. She may be tanking both their lives. I love this. It's similar to the woman who discovered her husband was cheating with her former bully and left with no explanation beyond, "I don't love you anymore." STBX knows what he was up to and the guilt is eating him alive. He can't confess to get any kind of closure. He's just left in limbo. Lobster pasta recipe, September 30th, 2023. 2 people. Lobster stock. I hope the 2 people Op chose were her ex and his affair partner. Glorious. He tried to become a cake eater, but the unparalleled hotness of his wife kept him from taking a bite. Then she took the cake with her. That lobster pasta sounds awesome. Personally, I probably would have let him know why I left. But if it brings Oop peace of mind, then I say to go for it. Oh, the not telling him the reason is awesome. That remind me of the other story about the husband cheating with her school bully.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epicaricast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.